the overriding.
Right. Let's begin by acknowledging the continuing connection of Aboriginal people to country, culture and community, including traditional custodians of this land, the Wurundjeri and Kaniang people of the Noongar Nation, paying respects to elders past and present. I declare the meeting open at 5:01 p.m. A reminder that the briefing is being live streamed and recorded in accordance with Council Policy EMCP2. Members of the public are reminded that no other visual or audio recording of this meeting by any other means is allowed without the permission of the chairperson. While every endeavour has been made to only record those who are actively participating, loud comments or noises may be picked up on the recording. The special council meeting is being attended by Councillor Anita Lindeman, Councillor Grant Patrick, Councillor Tyler Hall, Councillor Alex Purick, Councillor Councillor Leanne Ringe, and also we have Councillor Reggie Keown attending via live stream. Staff present are Chief Executive Officer Nick O'Connor, Director of Finance and Community Colin Young, Administration Officer Samantha Farquhar, Director of Operations Roscoe Marshall, and Executive Manager Corporate Lauren Clifford. I welcome past President Mr Lejudici in the gallery and those attending via live stream. And now, Councillor Keown, I think we need to have you read out a declaration.
Yep. The declaration is pursuant to section 14CA5 of the Local Government Administration Regulations 1996. I, Councillor Keown, declare that I am situated in a location where I can maintain confidentiality throughout the duration of the meeting.
Thank you, Councillor Keown.
Thank you.
And councillors, I'll just move that to support the live stream, move to suspend Clause 8.2, members to rise of the Meeting Procedures Local Law 2017. Would councillors like to second the motion? Councillor Ringe, and all in favour? Carried. At 2.1, we have apologies from Councillor McNabb and Councillor Bailey. There are no approved leave of absence. Oh, no, there aren't. It's not applying to the agenda briefing anyway. Okay, there are no announcements at item 3. Moving on to item 4, declarations of interest. Division 6, Subdivision 1 of the Local Government Act 1995 states that care should be taken by all councillors to ensure that a financial or impartiality interest is declared and that they refrain from voting on any matter which is considered to come within the ambit of the Act. Are there any declarations of interest from councillors? And public question time. We have no responses to public questions previously asked or previously taken on notice. And public question time at 5.2. Got no questions from the gallery? All eyes are on you, Mr Lejudici. So as there is no business to discuss at item 6, presentations, item 7, reports of committees, and item 8.1, reports from the Director of Operations, we can move on to the purpose of this special council meeting at item 8.2, Director of Finance and Community, at item 8.2.1, adoption of the 2026-27 annual budget. And Director Colin Young, would you like to introduce the budget?
Thank you, Madam President. Councillors, I'd just like to reiterate the process that we went through to get to this point, that we've adopted the asset management plans, the reserve fund, the Byron's plan. We've had a look at revised long-term financial plan. We've set the rate in the dollar. We've agreed to that. We've adopted the fees and the charges. The Roads Capital Works program. We've looked at policies for the elected member allowances and the community grants. We've done some asset optimisation in line with some minor amendments to the workforce plan. We had a workshop on the 1st of July, and we've had questions and answers from councillors along the way, and I thank all councillors and staff for the time and effort in contributing to the budget. I'm probably not going to go into it in too much detail at the moment, but I think that it's quite a substantial budget by the time the carry forwards are added back in. It's $32.3 million worth of expenditure, so it is quite a large budget. The overall position of council is improving. We have net transfers to reserve this coming financial year of $208,000. Combine that with reducement of debt by another $131,000. So we're in a good position. We're in a very consolidated position at the moment. Just a little bit of housekeeping in the new management budget. Please keep that for future reference during the year. It has not had the carry forwards added into it. The carry forwards are substantial. So there was 6.45 million worth of carry forwards that were brought forward, been offset largely by a 2.17 transfer from reserve and 2.29 million worth of grants that are either held as contract liabilities or are sitting outstanding. Also included in that was 1.9 million worth of prepayments for the federal assistance grants. So it is a substantial carry forward, and it's went into the budget. We never put it in the draft budget, so we had a clean budget to work with, but now for just for resources and that moving forward, I know in previous years we've brought the carry forwards in after the budget process, but it's just a cleaner process to bring them in at this point in time. So I would like to thank all councillors for their input into the document. I know the community has had input through the council plan. There's a lot of the council plan in here. I'd probably also like to thank all the executive, manager of the Shire, especially the finance staff that honestly have helped me so much and made the job easy. So I think the CEO might have a few wise words to say, so I'll hand you over to him at this point.
Thank you, Colin.
Thanks
CEO?
very much, Mr Young. You've set me up, you've built me up. I'm not sure how wise they are, but I've got a few words anyway, so thank you very much for the introduction. So, councillors, further to Mr Young's introduction, I would like to provide some commentary from my perspective as the CEO. The 26-27 annual budget, as presented, strikes, I believe, the right balance between prudent financial management, closing our asset sustainability gap, and delivering on a strong organisational foundations we've built together, both us as you as the elected members, the executive team and the community in recent years. This budget is the culmination of a joint effort between staff and elected members, but really importantly, shaped by community feedback. And that feedback commenced back a number of months ago, which included 774 respondents to the recent Shire-wide community survey, and then the subsequent feedback gathered through our engagement sessions as part of the council plan development or redevelopment. So the community's priorities and aspirations are reflected throughout the budget. Councillors, the budget before you is both responsible and balanced, and really importantly takes into account the increasing cost of living pressures for our residents and ratepayers. Saying that, like local businesses and households, council is not immune to those external cost pressures. So things such as insurance, electricity, utilities, fuel and construction materials have all escalated significantly. These increases place a real strain on our operating environment. Despite this, as Mr Young has already outlined, staff have worked exceptionally hard to reduce the impact on rates from these external cost increases. This is done through efficiencies, innovation and identifying smarter ways of delivering services. I think it's important we provide an example of those so that they're not just words on a page. And a really good example is the election commitment we secured during last year's state election campaign, which funded additional solar panels and batteries at the Donnybrook Recreation Centre, and that's just one example. So that project is now almost complete, I believe, Mr Marshall, and almost ready to be commissioned. And the great thing about that, we expect a substantial power cost saving throughout 26-27 financial year and well into the future. This is the type of innovative thinking that helps us manage external pressures whilst continuing to invest in long-term sustainability of our assets, which is one of our key strategic goals. I'd like to now delve into some of the highlights of the budget and provide some context around some of the significant areas of expenditure. The 26-27 capital program is targeted, responsible and aligned with community priorities, and that circles back to my opening remarks about being responsive to communities' aspirations and needs and priorities moving forwards. Within our roads program, there's a record expenditure of $4.1 million is the total program, which includes $1 million for Brookhampton Road, and that's over a 40% increase to our roads program from preceding years. And councillors will recall that one of the highest priorities for our community is our roads moving forward. So it's great to see that there's been a line of sight between community feedback and an increase in focus from a funding perspective and both from a capital and operating perspective to roads. Hand in glove with roads is our bridges. We're the custodians of a significant bridge network. So $2.16 million has been voted or is proposed as part of the 26-27 capital program. That's over a 100% increase. Both the roads and our bridges program is significantly leveraged by state and federal funding. And to provide a little bit of context, of the $4.1 million of the total roads program, $3.2 million of that is funded through state and federal government resources. So our staff have done a wonderful job, as outlined by Mr Marshall and Mr Morgan at the recent 5-year roads program that you recently adopted, Council, about how we leverage and maximise our own source revenue spend to leverage that grant funding. And then out of the $2.16 million bridges program, $2 million of that is from external funding, mostly through Main Road. So significant kudos to the staff for your innovation moving forward. Our buildings, so again, another area of strong focus from an asset sustainability perspective. So $3.2 million has been voted to that asset class. And a little bit of a breakdown on that $3.2 million. $1.6 million for the Argyle Irishtown Bushfire Brigade, which councillors will recall is fully externally funded through a state government election promise. And that, I believe, Mr Marshall, the site works have commenced on that site. And it's looking to be delivered over the 26-27 and 27-28 financial year. Our Parks and Gardens, $250,000 in Parks and Gardens upgrade, $10,000 for CCTV upgrades, and again, the CCTV upgrades is fully grant funded. So councillors, these investments demonstrate our commitment to closing that asset sustainability gap while ensuring our infrastructure remains safe, functional and fit for purpose. I'd like to now draw council's attention to waste services, and indeed something that's been of significant topic of community interest, not just within our shire, but across southwest region itself, and that's our waste services and the proposed continuation of the 3-bin system within the Shire of Donnybrook Balingup. So within the budget and the recommendation before you tonight in the officer's report, staff are recommending the continuation of the current 3-bin system for the 26-27 financial year, which obviously the FOGO scenario has been in a state of flux since November 2024. Since that time, Shire representatives have worked closely with our neighbouring councils, the Environment Minister and departmental representatives to identify a short-term solution while a permanent long-term FOGO processing facility is developed in the southwest. Now, despite everyone's efforts, a cost-effective short-term solution is yet to be identified. However, the Shire will continue to work collaboratively with neighbouring councils, the state government and waste processing contractors to secure a viable long-term FOGO solution. Therefore, and as I said in my remarks just before, for 26-27 it's proposed that the 3-bin system will continue for those relevant areas across the Shire. Material placed in the light green FOGO bin will continue to be transported to Dardanup for disposal to landfill. Importantly, customers will continue to be charged on a cost recovery basis only. So it's a full cost recovery for the 3-bin system. And obviously, councillors, as we foreshadowed as part of the workshops, will need to have a conversation with you around should there not be a FOGO solution over the coming months around the future continuation of the 3-bin system for the next financial year, and no doubt a conversation with the community as well. So in closing remarks, councillors, this budget reflects a mature, stable and forward-looking organisation. It is grounded in financial responsibility, shaped by community feedback and focused on closing our asset sustainability gap while continuing to deliver essential services and strategic improvements across the board. It demonstrates what can be achieved when staff and elected members work together with a shared purpose and when we listen carefully to the community we serve. Similar to Mr Young's sentiments, I thank my fellow ELT members and indeed the finance team and the infrastructure team for their strategic leadership in the development of the budget, and note its intended early adoption, i.e. mid-July, allowing staff to get on with the job early in the financial year. Shire President and councillors, I commend the 26-27 annual budget to council and thank you for your ongoing leadership and support. Thank you.
Thank you, CEO, and thank you, Director of Finance and Community. So, councillors, I'd like to move that we adopt the 26-27 budget. Would someone like to second that? Councillor Hall? So in moving to adopt the budget, I'm encouraging all councillors to look favourably and make that same decision to adopt. I see this budget as an important milestone and the culmination of a 2.5-year financial sustainability journey. And during this time, we have worked closely with the Shire executive staff and our community to address the long-term financial challenges that we identified in the lead up to the 2024-25 budget. And throughout this journey, we have maintained our purpose. We've provided regular updates on our progress. We've spoken openly about the challenges that we face and the decisions required. And we've reinforced the importance of planning responsibly for future generations. Supporting this work has been a continued focus on responsible financial management in all our decisions. Together, we have secured external funding for key community projects, reviewed services and operations, and carefully considered opportunities to improve efficiency while maintaining service delivery. And while some of these decisions have been challenging, they have been guided by a shared objective between council, Shire staff, executive and community to ensure that we maintain and renew our community assets, continue delivering essential services and avoiding passing today's costs on to future generations. So now as we look back going into the 24-25 budget, we were facing the same decision with a sustainability gap of 25.5%. Going into the 25-26 budget, this had been reduced to just 16.8%. And now I'm incredibly pleased to note that our asset funding reserves have now reached a solid neutral position of just 6.7% as we approach the new financial year. So I encourage you to adopt this budget, to continue this disciplined and considered approach. And as the Director of Finance and Community has said, the budget has already been informed by the decisions that we have made to date, including the asset management and financial informing plans that we received in February 2026, the long-term financial plan that we received in March 2026, the 5-year capital forward roadworks program considered in May 2026, and the 26-27 schedule of fees and charges we considered in May 2026. So I ask you to adopt the 26-27 budget as proposed and continue our commitment to balancing the long-term financial sustainability with the increasing cost of delivering services and maintaining community infrastructure all intact. I support adoption of this budget and projected rates adjustment of 6.7%, which allows 4.2% to contribution to general cost increases and 2.46% contribution to our asset reserves. Thank you, councillors. Councillor Hall.
Thank you, Madam President, for that. Echoing similar sentiments as what you've stated, although I'm a newer member to being elected member since October last year. In that time, I've appreciated the efforts of the administration and the work that's gone into everything that's prepared us for this meeting and this budget presentation. So thank you for all that. For the item itself, I've gone through line by line and asked many questions over the last week. So thank you to Manager of Finance, Colin Young. Thank you for that. And numbers don't lie. I think it proves that we're in a much improved position across the Shire based on what is presented here tonight. So I do fully support this and encourage Council to follow. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hall. Would anyone like to speak against the recommendation? Would anyone like to speak for? Well, councillors, we'll put that to vote. All in favour? Carried. Councillor Keane. Thank you. Thank you, councillors. Just getting the right spot here, councillors. Helps to be on the right file. I'm in agenda briefings. Okay. Right. As there is no further business for this special council meeting, I'll move through agendas items through to item 12, closure, where I can advise that the agenda briefing for the next ordinary council meeting will be held following this meeting, and the next ordinary council meeting will be held on the 22nd of July 2026 at 5 p.m. in the Shire of Donnybrook Balingup Council Chamber. Just before I declare the meeting closed, I'll just let viewers know, if you're watching via live stream, that we will take a 5-minute break and then reconvene for the July agenda briefing. And I'll declare this meeting, the special council meeting, closed at 5:23 p.m.